welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Dharma podcast. We appreciate your support and patronage. In this episode, we will be talking to Sandeep Balakrishna about two relics of a bygone era, namely Rajdeep Sardesai and Karan Thapar, talking among themselves on the 4th of December, which was published by The Wire. A long discussion where, of all the people, Rajdeep discusses about his lament for the lot of ethics in journalism. And that in itself calls for a larger conversation with Sandeep. And I, in particular, am looking forward to what he has to say and what the discussion will ensue. So please join us as we start the conversation. Hi, Sandeep.
Hi, Parag. Good to be back.
Absolutely a delight and honor. So, like I mentioned, it was audacious to see people like Rajdeep Sardesai lamenting about the loss of ethics in journalism, of all the people with Karan Thapar. And of course, a go-to platform for them was none other than The Wire. And he talks about how younger journalists who he knows as colleagues are increasingly not following ethics, as if he and Karan were the beacon of all that was right in journalism, including upholding ethics. So, and several things about them that are in the public domain, but nothing stops them. But I think it's important that we talk to you on this recent audacious attempt by both of them. How do you see this? How do you see this?
Well, before answering the question of how I see it, by the way you set the context is pretty awesome. Before I even get into, giving my perspective on this, the toughest challenge before me is where does one begin? Because the list is prolonged and truly extensive and even, it can run into several volumes, but one has to make a beginning somewhere. So, Mr. Karan Thapar and Rajdeep Sardesai, both of them talking about media ethics in the manner in which they have done. Both of them talking about media ethics and some core values of journalism is like celebrating Ram Navami in a mosque. So that is the closest analogy I can give. It could be, be it Rajdeep Sardesai or his more celebrity MP wife, plus Karan Thapar. They, like you said, they are definitely relics of a bygone era, but they also epitomize the worst excesses of legacy media in India. What also used to be known as Congress media, Lutyens media elite, Darbari media, all these adjectives, Khan Market gang.
Well earned adjective.
Yeah. So they belong to that ecosystem, which I suppose, at one level, the Wire video that you just mentioned, at one level, it is a lament at the loss of all that power and prestige, where, things could get done just 10 years back, where things could get done over a phone call.
Including cabinet postings.
A lot of, you name the sleaze, this legacy media has its finger in that, all those disgusting affairs. So, this is a larger context, the legacy media. So, few people don't understand the enormity and the path-breaking change that Mr. Narendra Modi has brought. These guys were a law unto themselves. And, the enormity of that change, they realize it more than anybody else. History has a way of bypassing us, of escaping our notice in our day-to-day life, because everybody has to, earn a living, and, people are in general are involved in their own things. So they don't understand that they are living amidst momentous times. And this video, this clipping of Rajdeep and Karan exemplifies that momentous change. I'll tell you a real life anecdote which dates back to more than 100 years. To understand, to actually give a proper context in which to understand the phenomenon, the ugly spectacle of watching these two guys talk about media ethics and core journalistic values. There was an extraordinary gentleman, an honest editor and a newspaper publisher, was also a journalist. His name was W.T. Stead, William Thomas Stead, based out of England. He earned a fabulous reputation as a man with, as a journalist and editor with integrity, very fearless. On many occasions, he paid a huge cost for truth telling in his papers. For example, in his time, teenage prostitution was rampant on the streets of London. Everybody knew this, but nobody dared to expose it. But it took only one man, this gentleman W.T. Stead, to write a 13-part series in his paper exposing this scandal, which obviously shook the whatever conscience of the British society, and authorities were forced to act. But as a price for telling this naked truth nakedly, Stead was imprisoned, and he spent his time in jail meditating. Anyway, he was released. So what happened once was that W.T. Stead, he sailed all the way to the United States of America to meet a man named William Randolph Hearst, very famous media magnate, but he was also a media buccaneer, this robber baron type. You can equate him to that. A very fabulously wealthy guy. He had his own zoo. He imported wild animals from Africa and India. This was a kind of wealth that he had, Hearst. And William Thomas Stead sailed to America, and he met him. And the first thing that he told Hearst when he met him was this: I came all the way from England to see you. I wanted to see you because I want to find out if you have got a soul.
Oh my God.
On
He
his
crossed the
face.
seven seas, so to speak, to ask this question.
Yeah. So that shook Hearst, and rest is history, as they say. And unfortunately, this great man, paragon, actual embodiment of journalistic integrity and ethics, W.T. Stead, while he was sailing back from the United States to England, the ship was drowned and he died. The name of the ship was the Titanic. Anyway, so when you have to place this conversation between Karan Thapar and Rajdeep Sardesai, who are talking about media ethics, and contrast it with a man like this,
Like Stead, yeah.
Stead, that is when a lot of clarity
The
will come to
enormity
you.
of your...
Yeah. And Rajdeep Sardesai's, this has to be random, because, the amount of things that he's done is just truly stupendous. So his list of gaffes and tomfoolery, it is longer and thicker than the Great Wall of China. It is taller than Mount Everest.
And still climbing.
And still, and still growing in height.
Yeah.
So just put a search for Rajdeep Sardesai's name on YouTube and see the autocomplete that comes. Invariably, you will see a plethora of roast videos exclusively dedicated to this guy. This is the kind of fame that
He has earned.
he has earned. He has literally worked very hard to earn this fame. There are no two ways about it. He's really worked for his bread and butter, right? So, and of late, about 10 years, about 10 years before now, Rajdeep also earned a great celebrity acronym, MSG.
Yeah.
Care to expand it?
Yes, Madison Square boxer.
Madison Square Gunda.
Gunda.
Or
Some call him boxer.
Also boxer. I mean, variants of this
Variants of,
acronym. And we know why he did that. I mean, look at, he must be made of some special stuff, Parag. You go to a foreign country and you incite people who have electorally voted and supported Mr. Narendra Modi. You deliberately provoke them. I mean, that video went viral.
Yes,
it
yes,
is still viral.
Vividly,
it still continues to
get
get hits and page views and that kind of thing. But why do you want to deliberately provoke people for no fault of theirs except the fact that they voted for a person?
And then he plays the victim when he is.
And then you go and shove and push people because they hit back at you verbally. And what kind of behavior is? Have you seen any journalist in the entire history of Indian journalism? Perhaps you won't have seen a spectacle like this.
Yes.
On a foreign soil, you want to spew venom against a man you hate from the bottom of your heart. Why do you want to do this? What makes you do this? So therefore, he has deservedly, justifiably, rightfully earned that acronym. MSG. By the way, I think sometime last year onwards and even now, there has been a steep fall in the sales of Gobi Manchurian in Karnataka. You know why? Because the government of Karnataka banned a dangerous ingredient called MSG.
Yes. Monosodium glutamate.
Yes.
My
absolutely.
old knowledge.
It is poison.
Poison.
So you see, the universe, if you sit quietly and calmly and meditate, you will find these links. Nature and the universe, the cosmos is a great teacher. More than all books put together, you get these links. All right. And not just this. This man who talks so much about core journalistic values, in 2011, I clearly remember writing about this, I think in Pioneer, one of those papers. This man in 2011, remember that there was a huge illegal immigration of Muslims from Bangladesh into Assam in a place called Kokrajhar.
Yes, it was in the news.
Yeah. So Mr. Sardesai, Hindus were being forced, another exodus.
Displaced from their own land, yeah.
So this man, he was, I think, the head of CNN IBN back then. He did not report this incident, I think, for 3 or 4 days continuously. And when social media was just taking off, when he was hounded relentlessly, it was only then that, he condescended to report on this incident in a tokenized fashion, in a token manner. And the justification that he gave on Twitter for his non-reportage of Kokrajhar persecution of Hindus, he said, tyranny of distance.
Yes, absolutely. While he was there, in spite of that.
Sir, how far is Delhi from Assam? How far? Given your resources, CNN IBN is a huge corporate conglomerate with almost unlimited resources.
And we've had the same breed comment on Gaza, which is closer to Delhi.
Exactly. Yeah, Gaza is very close to Delhi. No, it's opposite to Connaught Place.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I've been there. Yeah. Very, very nice, calm, peaceful place. So, tyranny of distance. Okay, this is journalistic ethics. Something as basic as reporting a live and burning story. You don't do this? You maintain radio silence? Now you whine about core journalistic values? And Parag, if you just go on the internet, on Quora, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, there is overwhelming anecdotal evidence that shows that perhaps Rajdeep is the most despised journalist in India.
Yeah, loathed by millions.
By millions, actually. He is also unique in another sense, in a very profound sense. Rajdeep has the great distinction, the great uniqueness, the great singularity of being humiliated repeatedly, recurrently and in a highly public fashion by all sections of the society, including politicians, businessmen, former judges, sports people, and political leaders, cutting across parties. He is the only journalist to earn this great distinction. Publicly humiliated. Here's a short list. He was insulted on live camera by Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, Nitin Gadkari, Mukesh Ambani, Saurav Ganguly, Raj Thakre, Jaggi Vasudev, Pranab Mukherjee, Sunil Gavaskar, Shehzad Poonawala, Amit Malviya, Amitabh Bachchan, Shazia Ilmi, even his own colleague, the baby-faced Mr. Rahul Kanwal, once insulted him in India Today's studio.
Yes.
You think, this is no mean achievement, Parag?
Yeah.
Right?
He stands head and shoulders above everybody else.
How many journalists can boast of this kind of a record? Extraordinary, na?
Absolutely.
And what I also find disgusting was an episode with Kerala's Chief Minister, Mr. Pinarayi Vijayan. You remember that video where he was seated across on Pinarayi Vijayan's dining table,
the fish curry meal,
gorging on fish curry meal and giving a live commentary. What is notable in that video is the undisguised and sheer contempt with which Pinarayi Vijayan was looking at Rajdeep silent treatment. But the contempt on his face for a man who's an alleged journalist was unmissable. How is this journalism by any standard?
And it so goes, evident from post the meal over the years, that meal literally silenced him, because there is enough to criticize Pinarayi Vijayan and the entire commie regime there.
Absolutely.
But not once.
Not a word.
Not a word.
Not a word of even justified, valid, truthful criticism.
Yes. And that is all it takes.
Based on his own government's performance. Forget the communist ideology.
Yes, absolutely agree.
Right?
That is all it takes. A fish meal to silence him.
A fish meal. Not a word. And everything that he's done and said is on public record. Mounds of it, loads of it. But he continues. And what kind of honest journalism can you do after this kind of favor taking?
Exactly the point. Which is what people question him on. Can I just add one episode on ethics that in the long list that you mentioned? I'm sure you are across it. It went unnoticed, is my view. There was a portrait of Subhash Chandra Bose put in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. And Twitter, somebody started saying it is a portrait of the actor who played the role of Bose in a movie, in a Bengali movie. He joined hands with that tirade. And he did his usual lampooning criticism. I think Ashok Malik was the media in charge for the Rashtrapati
Bhavan. Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
So, he wrote a stinging rebuke to India Today group that this is the original portrait, it is not of the actor. In spite of calling out to Rajdeep Sardesai, he did. I think I have the letter somewhere. He did not even bother to apologize. We will review our engagements with India Today going forward, coming from the highest office of the country.
Absolutely.
What did he do? No apology. He quietly deleted the tweet and it's sad title today. You imagine, this is a Rashtrapati Bhavan. I mean,
this incident I missed, and all our viewers should thank Parag for bringing this. It works at so many levels. The point here, the larger point here, is that it is habitual. Because in the ancient regime, Rajdeep had unfettered access to all these places.
Absolutely, well said. Unfettered, completely.
Unfettered access to all these places, so that you do this kind of thing for decades. It seeps into your veins and your bloodstream. You can't just help yourself. Now that that ancient regime has been thoroughly demolished, there has to be an insidious way to keep harping on the loss of that kind of access and prestige and power and pelf and all privileges that come with it. So this is the mindset that works behind such wild tweets. About whom? Subhash Chandra Bose.
And in the highest office.
In the highest office. So it works at multiple levels
Yes.
like this. But like I said, habitual. And this man has the gall to lecture us on journalistic ethics and core values of journalism. It's quite amazing. It's quite amazing. Uh, it does not end there. I mean, like I said, Great Wall of China. About 10 or 11 years ago, maybe around that time, around 2014-15, Rajdeep was exposed on live TV in some function uh, by none other than a gentleman named Mr. Suhail Seth. You remember that?
I'm sorry, it doesn't
Suhail
ring a bell
Seth.
current immediately.
Suhail Seth.
Yeah, I know Suhail Seth.
Yeah.
Very
So he
outspoken.
was, they were in some kind of seminar or conference or something. And he took on Rajdeep Sardesai with a straight face and told him how Rajdeep had used Ambika Soni's clout to bypass various municipal laws in Delhi to buy or build his lavish house in a prime area in Delhi.
Yeah, it comes back to me. Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah, there is a certain value paraded on Twitter about the bungalow.
And this guy talks to us about journalistic ethics, core values. Really? And let's not also forget some serious allegations that were leveled against him in that notorious cash for vote scandal in 2008. Remember that?
Yes, of course.
I mean, he's put out many tweets in those days, written some, some kind of a justification. He's also come on. There's some videos about how he said that I'm willing to, clear my stand on that cash for vote scandal, things like that. I mean, look at the kind of things that he's been involved in. And, remorseless. You still do this. You continue to do this.
So, remorse is incorrigible. I know. So, I mean, you perhaps can shed light. We can cover it later. What is the motivation? Is it intrinsic hatred, or there is a carrot promised to him for all that he has done, which is not got? For example, a Rajasva seat. That is one of the popular theories. That he's been doing this at the behest of the, who. Because he eventually he needs to get a Rajya Sabha seat, or he wishes to, and unfortunately, thanks to Modi, he has failed for 2 decades.
His wife has succeeded, though.
His wife has succeeded, but she's joined a tremendous party, so no contest there. So if that is success, yes, she succeeded.
Yeah.
So is it intrinsic vile and bile that you mentioned, which I'm sure there is?
No, he is a lifelong hater of the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh.
Okay.
Bharatiya Janata Party, and especially Mr. Modi. Because remember that Rajdeep belongs to that tribe of, or rather not tribe, yes, of course, but that large ecosystem which single-handedly went after Narendra Modi unremittingly, relentlessly for 10 long years.
Yes.
So he's one of the prime players of that ecosystem. And that hatred does explain this. It does explain this. Suddenly, I'm sure you remember those days when it was pretty much clear that Modi is going to become, there's no way to stop him from becoming the Prime Minister. He suddenly started playing these predictable double games, calling LK Advani as a liberal. You should check out his old videos of his interviews with Mr. LK Advani. His body language, the tone and the sheer contempt with which he spoke to a very learned man, a very senior leader of the BJP, Mr. Advani. And now suddenly he's praising him.
Yeah, the villain of the communal
Of the
polarization
90s.
of the Rath Yatra suddenly became the mascot of what?
Become the mascot of tolerance and liberalism,
Yes.
right? So, I mean, there's no end to this kind of vileness that he's done. And so that explains one thing. And of course, whatever his aspirations for a Rajya Sabha, we don't know. I can't impute.
Yeah, I mean, that's a popular theory. Is what-
I'm not impute. You can't impute motives,
Yes.
but definitely he's, whatever his ambitions are, he's definitely working towards those things. But hatred for Mr. Modi, above all, there is a deep sense of fury inside him that कि देखो हमने इस आदमी को इतना टारगेट किया, इतने देर तक टारगेट किया, every single day, the way he and his ilk hounded Mr. Modi. In spite of that, Rajdeep could not prevent Mr. Modi from becoming the PM, not once, thrice.
And the CM thrice, yeah, absolutely. He just marched on like a colossus
as
and
simple as-
marginalized the Rajdeep and his ilk.
So when Mr. Modi became the PM, the predictable thing happened. Actually, Rajdeep should be, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but anyway, Mr. Modi became the PM, and look what has happened to his career. I'm not giving a direct link, but the point is, in a way, कि जैसी करनी वैसी भरनी. That's pretty much how it is.
And this goes back to what you began with.
Yeah.
That we don't recognize people. The transformation Modi has brought about by marginalization of this entitled, unfettered media.
Exactly. See, the point is, when you acquire political power of the kind that Mr. Modi has acquired, all the ecosystem that had supported, the whole ecosystem that had supported people like Rajdeep and Karan Thapar automatically became irrelevant. Mr. Modi never took any revenge or anything against these people.
Which itself is remarkable.
They became irrelevant on the weight of what they had done in the past. As simple as that.
Yeah, so like you said, it is the fury of marginalization that plays out in these.
Yeah. So, you could pick up call. What do you mean Ambika Soni? You have that kind of clout with Ambika Soni? Over, no. She was a central minister at one point. All that is gone.
In fact, I remember in the initial episodes, we spoke about the history of media with you.
Yeah.
Journalism, sorry. And you mentioned about this part, which again I think is there in public domain. The NDTV had their awards function inside Rashtrapati Bhavan.
Rashtrapati Bhavan.
I mean,
25th year anniversary.
Yes.
So,
the
imagine
unfettered access of the media.
Using the lawns of the Rashtrapati Bhavan like a resort, like a private party venue. It can't get better than that. No, now sab khatam ho gaya.
True.
The bile remains, and it keeps flowing out every once in a while. And this is the same man. Just because you brought up the point of his hatred for Mr. Modi and also Amit Shah, let's not forget the fact that Rajdeep is the same eminent journalist who performed an ugly snake dance on live TV in the India Today studio when the BJP lost a crucial election.
Yeah, that was despicable.
No, it is so disgusting, man.
Yes,
You
yes.
call these people as journalists. How? By what standard? And you lecture about others on media ethics? How does that work? You remember that snake dance?
Yeah, of course. It's I'm just trying to go back to what you had said earlier. That I think it is difficult to do anything with a person who has no price and no shame.
Exactly. And in this video with the wire, Rajdeep talks, very self-righteously about how some of his old colleagues, senior colleagues, have been hounded by the Modi government. Early morning raids, their laptops have
And
mobiles have been confiscated.
who does he quote? Who does he say are journalists there?
Journalists there?
A Chinese-funded NewsClick.
NewsClick? Some Purbir, some Kayasa, somebody? A Chinese agent. Meaning traitor. Let's be honest. Speak in plain language. Receiving funding from enemy country.
Nation, yeah, absolutely. In fact, that brings me to the other most recent, his love for traitors, which goes beyond, parallel to his hatred for Modi and all that he represents. When the government on the floor of the parliament recently, led by Nishikant Dubey, brought about the connections of the Federation of Democracy and funded by Soros with the Congress family particularly and the Congress government, he tweeted, I think yesterday, saying a 94-year-old man can disrupt the world's largest democracy or something like that. Imagine, here also, without looking at the facts being take place in the public domain, he is batting for Soros because the target is the family.
Yeah.
And bringing in age. The love for traitors, like you mentioned, I think knows no bounds.
It knows no bounds. He's part of the same, traitor-loving, tribe in India. I always say, I always say that for the longest time since independence, one of the big reasons why India was unable to progress, why India was still looked at as a third world country, unlike say Singapore, all those countries which attained independence roughly around the same time, why they were able to economically progress and pretty much decolonize themselves. Why India was unable to do that is because no other country in the world has so many number of traitors per square feet.
Agree.
So it all leads back
Yes,
to
yes,
that,
yes.
sir. All these fellows.
I think that weeding out still has a long way to go, but yes, at least they're out
Yeah.
of the rat hole. So it's
Yeah.
the people know who they are.
Take another random name, Medha Patkar.
Yes.
You look at this gang,
Yes.
anything that is good for India.
Kavita Krishnan. Yeah,
Kavita
many.
Krishnan, no, Kavita Krishnan to theek hai. I mean, she's a committed card carrying, gun-toting
Yes.
Naxalite.
Yeah.
Forget her. Take people like Medha Patkar. No?
Yes.
The Narmada, Sardar Sarovar Dam, it got completed only after Mr. Modi got a decisive mandate and, ruled Gujarat, with an iron hand.
And how it has transformed that region.
Yeah, 30 years, da.
Yes.
30 years that.
Unpardonable.
Ah.
Unpardonable.
How many farmers died? I mean, all this, you look at the levels of deception of this media, Parag. I've been in this for about 25 years, actual writing and longer. But anyway, watching, the tricks that these media fellows have done. People would, the media would celebrate and universities would give awards to people like Medha Patkar. They would showcase them as courageous heroes and activists fighting for a just cause, for the oppressed and downtrodden. What the same media who gives these awards to these so-called heroes like Medha Patkar, what the same media doesn't show is the level of hatred that Medha Patkar evokes in all the areas, in all the villagers, among all the villages where her activism has been at its peak.
Ruined generations.
They hate her
Yes.
with a passion.
And why not? They
Yeah.
should.
So it boils down to the same thing. Anything that is good for India, these fellows hate. As simple as that.
As simple as that.
So this goes beyond selfishness, but I think we are kind of digressing from the topic. Mr. Sardesai is also the same guy who did an hour-long interview with Her Highness Desh Ki Mata Shrimati Sonia Gandhi.
Glad you brought it up.
And he labeled it as the interview of the decade, it seems. When did he label this? After Congress was sitting pretty with just 44 seats. So this was the interview of the decade. That should tell you something, not only about his journalistic ethics, but about his political acumen. Okay? That.
Yeah.
And what are the tough questions that he asked her
yes.
in that interview? What was your mother-in-law's favorite dish?
Yes.
What are your hobbies? This kind of thing. What kind of designs you like? Basically, this kind of flattering questions. And yeah, you had a question.
No, I'm saying in the same interview, what has become now legendary
Interview.
and he's only given a stick for himself to be beaten with. In the series, I think towards the end, the toughest question was, so did you help Indira in the kitchen?
Yeah, very profound.
Very profound.
Very tough question. Yeah. I mean,
Speaking truth to the power that he
just put her on the mat.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. But here's another interesting thing that caught my eye. This comes from...
you're borrowing from Rajdeep?
No.
Okay.
So, this is from the late Mr. Vinod Mehta's book, semi-autobiography. It is called Editor Unplugged.
Okay.
So, he mentions Rajdeep Sardesai on several occasions. So, let me just read out a tidbit from that book. It is on page number 27. Quote, Rajdeep Sardesai and some other TV anchors believe print editors are jealous of TV anchors since print publications can never dream of reaching the numbers television does. Some tangential truth there. However, I must refer to a discussion at the Delhi Press Club on the ethics of the Radia tapes exposure in December 2010. Rajdeep accused print editors of cutting professional corners. Why did we not check with those on the tapes before publishing them seemed to be his main complaint.
Okay.
And he supplied the answer himself because we were envious of TV anchors who outdid print editors in consistently scooping the Radia type of stories and also for the page 3 kind of popularity they received. I am happy to report he was shouted down by other journalists, both print and TV.
Wonderful. I
A
don't
member of his
think, I
own
don't think many
fraternity.
people, I mean, it's a good discovery. Thank you for this.
A member of his own tribe, you know what he says, further. I have been a print editor for nearly 40 years, and it gets to me when someone at the airport or at the cocktail party asks, I see you a lot on television. What else do you do? Face of recognition is what we printwalas are presumably envious of. However, I wouldn't trade places with Rajdeep.
Brilliant.
That's a damning indictment. Here's a book, Editor Unplugged by Vinod Mehta.
And from his
Yeah,
tribe. Coming
his
from
own
his tribe.
tribe. So, Radia tapes, remember?
Yes, yes.
Open Magazine published at first and followed by Outlook. So, I mean,
I also want to bring up what Rajdeep did with Modi for 10 plus years, brandishing him as communal. And he actually baked his bread by fanning communal flames. What a career to have. Same thing he did with Amit Shah. The interview before the Varanasi elections when Modi contested.
2014.
2014.
Historic win, yeah.
Yeah, and he kept on trying to grill and corner Amit Shah. And I think that is the first time many like me saw Amit Shah give it back to the media in their face, in their own, in the manner they understand. And one of the points that he really counted him well on, I think that is what earned him 1 million fans that day. He said, लेकिन ऐसा क्यों है कि ऐसा क्यों है कि लोगों को लगता है कि आप आएंगे तो यूपी में दंगे शुरू हो जाएंगे, because he was given charge of UP.
Yeah.
तो इसे इसमें आपका बड़ा योगदान है.
Absolutely.
I loved the way, I think millions loved the way he said that.
What, Parag, this interesting you bring this up. What this legacy media guys don't understand is the very nature and the structure and the way that the Bharatiya Janata Party operates. Okay, they do not understand because they have been used to covering and supporting a family-run party where everything, flows top down. There are no independent voices even within the party. There is no disagreement. There is no, culture of open debate. It all goes back, like I said, to Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. He fostered this dictatorial style of politics, of running a political party. So that culture is still there. It is still there. Tell me, Parag, since 2014, who is keeping the first family alive? Not the first family. It is the so-called regional satraps who still have some base, who still command votes. They are sustaining the Congress party and the first family.
Jaitley,
How many votes can Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi get? Why did they run away all the way to Wayanad?
Why not? Absolutely. In fact, Jaitley, remember, as said, I mean, Congress, from being the mainstream party, is now playing second and third fiddle to regional satraps.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, this kind of, BJP is a cadre-based party, where the rules are different, where the structure is different, where, things like promotion and grooming of leadership are decided in ways that these so-called mainstream legacy media can never fathom.
Absolutely.
Why? Because they don't have this open-mindedness to sit down with the top leadership and actually understand the party's functioning in an honest, transparent, and with great intellectual curiosity. If at all they condescend to talk to any BJP leader, whoever it might be, it is only to grill them. It is only to call them communal, to abuse them. This is the journalism they've done
Yes,
all the way.
yes. Because they know no better.
They know nothing else. So if Mr. Amit Shah gives it back in the manner that he did, that it's a memorable interview actually for more reasons than one. It is Rajdeep's fault because he never cared for the throughout it. If you in that interview, remember Rajdeep keeps on harping about how Amit Shah, to his face, about how Amit Shah is considered as a militant. आप जेल गए थे, आप जेल गए थे, आप जेल गए. Remember that?
Yes,
You've
yes.
gone to
yes,
jail.
yes.
Is this journalism? Is this interviewing?
Exonerated by every code, both of them.
Yeah. Is this interviewing? So you don't want to understand the man. You don't want to understand his strategy. What you have is jealousy and anger and outrage and hatred. So how does this work? And now that you mention, and it's also relevant in this episode, Mr. Karan Thapar. Remember that that memorable interview with Modi where Mr. Modi just took off that mic and walked away?
That was Jayalalitha also? Or
No, not Jayalalitha.
Okay.
Jayalalitha gave it back to him.
I gave it back to him.
See, before Modi granted him the interview, he was Gujarat Chief Minister then.
Yes.
Before he granted him the interview, there were clear rules of engagement. Now, this Karan Thapar kept on hammering at the 2002 riots.
Yes.
Even when the case was sub judice. Right? So he said, no, this is not the way. He has broken trust, no?
Yes.
There are formal rules of engagement with people and both parties should honor it. Right?
Yes.
Not only that, the same Karan Thapar, I think after Modi won 2007 elections, I think so, around that time. He had a regular column in Hindustan Times. And you know what his concluding lines of one of those columns were? I quote him verbatim. Only a sudden removal of Narendra Modi can ensure communal harmony or something on those lines. What do you mean sudden removal? What do you mean sudden removal?
Of an elected leader.
Yeah. So this guy titles his show what? Hard Talker, something, one of those things. No? All copied from British media.
Yeah, absolutely.
No ounce of originality. But these are the guys talking about media ethics. The same Karan Thapar once whined in a long form interview. I think it's again on one of those portals, Wire or Scroll.
Is it the one with Veer Sanghvi? He literally breaks down? Okay, that's another one. Sorry.
I don't know. I don't remember exactly. But, he comes out as a, perpetual whiner. That, all access to Modi's Prime Minister's office has been closed for me. Okay, they live in that world. Like you said, relics of a bygone era. But, they can't let go of the habit. Yeah, you had a question.
No, it is more in continuation with what you said. They have not made any effort to understand how leaders are groomed and how it is a cadre-based party, the BJP in this
Absolutely.
case. So, Modi is one of his replies in the parliament, not in the current session, one of the previous sessions.
In the previous Lok Sabha.
He said कि हम लोग यहाँ पे अखबार की सुर्खियों से नहीं जन्मे हैं. We are not here because of the media. We are not born for the media and we work for the media. Brilliant that was.
Exactly.
I don't remember his exact words, but he said it very well.
Exactly.
I think that is a difference.
Yeah.
And to which Jyotiraditya Scindia, when he was asked in his, and he's a very good speaker, he was asked about the difference between the BJP and he said it is meritocracy versus you know what.
Yeah.
I think that one word sums it up.
Forget Jyotiraditya Scindia. Can you find a more devastating, indictment of the Congress style of functioning than this, the brilliant interview that Himanta Biswa Sharma gave?
Yeah.
The PD and the dog biscuits and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So, ye hai. And all these legacy media journalists are cut from that cloth. As simple as that. And who were their go-to men? Though there are legendary stories of the late and great Mr. Ahmed Patel and how he, controlled the strings of power and access as far as the media was concerned. Remember all those?
Yes.
I don't forget these things. I mean, it's part of recent history, but the havoc they've played with the public conscience, the way that they have sullied and poisoned public discourse is unprecedented. Well, I mean, we can go on and on, but, since you mentioned Mr. Modi's statement in Parliament, he also said that, हम यहाँ पे ऐसे ही नहीं बैठे हैं. He said, बहुत दशकों का planning होता है.
Yes, I remember.
So this
ये
is
अचानक से नहीं होता है.
this is decadal planning which people don't understand. So it is actually, not that it will make a difference to this legacy media, but it is time for them to sit and introspect. Whether what we've been doing all this while is journalism or, at various points, journalism is defined as a public good. Okay, I don't know by what stretch of that definition can the journalism practiced by these guys fit in.
At least don't do public harm.
Exactly. But you know what, Parag? I think one of the best takedowns of Mr. Rajdeep Sardesai came from, again, Mr. Narendra Modi himself. This is that famous bus episode where, Mr. Modi is sitting, I think, beside the driver, and Rajdeep is, holding the mic and talking to him, and, he tries to pretend to ask tough questions, and that response by Modi is epic actually. So he said, सुना है आजकल मोदी को गाली देने वालों को राज्यसभा सीट मिल रही है. And then he goes on, Rajdeep typically tries to, interrupt him. And to which Modi cuts him midway and he says, सुनना पड़ेगा भाई, आपकी चैनल की रोजी रोटी मुझसे चलती है.
Yes. I think that was a chopper. He had boarded a chopper and he was sitting next, he was trying to thrust a mic. Yes.
Remember that?
Absolutely epic.
Epic.
Can I add one more anecdote here?
Please.
Again, sense of humor about Modi and how he gave it back. In this case, not giving it back, but the message loud and clear. And there is Rajdeep on video there. India Today had called him for their conclave when he was declared as a PM candidate.
Yeah.
He spoke for about 1 hour, impromptu. No paper, nothing. And he quotes an anecdote about कि जो लोग मुझे सही से जानते हैं मीडिया के थ्रू नहीं, वो मेरे बारे में अच्छा जानते हैं और अच्छी मेरे संस्कार हैं, हमारे रिलेशंस अच्छे हैं. तो मॉन्टेक सिंह आलूवालिया से मैंने बात की थी, ये जो लायंस है गुजरात में गिर के, उनके कंजर्वेशन के लिए हमको कुछ फंड्स चाहिए, तो उन्होंने बोला ठीक है प्रपोजल बना के भेजो. तो उन्होंने प्रपोजल बना के भेजा. फिर महीने बीत गए, 1.5 साल हो गया, तो मैंने अचानक देखा न्यूज़ में सेव द टाइगर कैंपेन शुरू हुआ. तो फिर मैंने मॉन्टेक जी को फ़ोन किया. मैंने कहा क्या हुआ साहब, हमने तो आपको प्रपोजल दिया था, 1 साल हो गया, आपने कुछ अभी ये कर रहे हैं, ऐसा है क्या कि लायन अब कम्युनल हो गए और टाइगर सेक्युलर हो गए. एंड अमंग द ऑडियंस वाज राजदीप सरदेसाई एंड ही वाज लाफिंग एंड लिटरली फॉलिंग ऑफ हिज चेयर. सो वेरी वेल नोइंग दैट विद दैट वन लाइन मोदी एक्सपोज्ड एवरीबॉडी. ब्रिलियंट, इट वाज ब्रिलियंट.
Absolutely. So they don't understand, they don't care to understand because they know of no other form of journalism. And now they're talking about what media ethics and Godi media, this kind of thing. They are the real Godi media. They were the real Godi media. So yeah, I mean, we can just go on and on.
So
and he kind of he's also subject. At one level I feel sorry because from a detached, neutral and academic standpoint, he makes a wonderful case study. And if there are, I'm sure there are many enthusiastic and committed students of journalism and public discourse. So a good academic exercise for them would be to take out all the reportage that Rajdeep has done, not just reportage, but his various shows that he has done ever since he became a TV journalist. This goes all the way back to something called Star News. Remember?
Yes.
So from there till today, archival footage is easily available. So if any interested student or researcher can diligently undertake an academic research, several valuable insights will emerge just from studying this man's brand of journalism alone. It will be eye-opening. It will be national service actually, Para.
I think it's a great proposal for anybody to take it up.
Absolutely.
But you know what I'm thinking, unfortunately, is Rajdeep, how he will spin what you said when you began and what you just said.
I am communal, I'm Modi Bhakt and whatever it is.
No, that is the easy part. I think you began by saying it's like, ethics in journalism, Rajdeep talking about it is like celebrating Ram Navami in a mosque.
Yeah.
So his immediate, isn't that the beauty of secular India?
Oh yeah, I mean,
I was thinking, sorry, I don't want
he's a past master, this kind of...
I think greatest spinner India has ever produced.
Spinner, yeah, absolutely.
Bedi,
Venkataraghvan,
all of them combined.
Anil Kumble, all of them.
Absolutely.
Theek hai. I mean, good luck to him, I guess.
Yes. Hope you enjoyed that conversation with Sandeep Balakrishna as he brought to fore some very interesting tidbits about none other than the journalist, the truth-speaking journalist Rajdeep Sardesai, particularly the one that he quotes from Vinod Mehta's semi-autobiography, where he paid flattering tributes to Rajdeep Sardesai, and he was shouted down in no other place than the Press Club of India. So we hope that the millions who loathe him have found more reasons to loathe him with this conversation with Sandeep. And on a more serious note, like Sandeep said, it calls for a great study on the disservice he has done to journalism. And if there are upcoming bright journalists, I think they may very well research this to avoid and stay away from the kind of journalism that he has peddled all these years. So thank you all for watching Dharma podcast. Thank you all for your support. Please like, share and subscribe so that this conversation reaches a wider audience. And we look forward to your continued patronage in the coming episodes. Thank you so much.